Put it on Andrea Mengucci. He's been here before plenty of times. The lists are pretty close, so there's not too much to be gained here. But Tomas running hot, looking to win that very first event that he plays in. So I got to go with Andrea Mengucci, but I wouldn't be too surprised to see Tomas really hungry for this win right out of the gate.
I wouldn't call it beginner's luck. Obviously been playing Magic for a couple years, but Tomas Pokorny certainly looking to replicate what Jan Moritz Merkel did in his very first event and just win the whole darn thing.
Yeah, beginners. I mean, taking it down on your actual first tournament, I don't know how you would qualify for an event like that if it was your first, but that would be truly impressive.
It would be indeed. Now, kicking things off here with a Thoughtseize, he's going to take a look at the hand here of Andrea Mengucci and find Nissa Who Shakes the World, Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, and a Fatal Push. All ripe for the picking.
Yeah, I would think you want to just clear away Nissa here. It's the most powerful card. Uro, of course, very powerful, but putting it into the graveyard doesn't do too much. Andrea picking up that Thoughtseize is quite nice, though, off the top.
Yeah, you Thoughtseize me. I'm going to Thoughtseize you right back, but may want to kick things off here with a Zagoth Triome. Looks like we're going to go for the Thoughtseize irrespective, though, and take a look in the hand here. See what's up for grabs, and it's just an Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath. He's quite familiar with the graveyard, though, so won't be too sad to be hanging out there right now.
Yep, not too bad there. Triumph, decent pickup here to be able to at least have something to do. But Tomas is definitely going to need something here.
Yeah, something hopefully not lands, because Tomas is flooding quite badly here. At least Andrea can do something with all the lands he's accumulating in the form of Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath.
And I'm really surprised that Andrea needs that hand warmer. I'm surprised that he's cold with how hot he's been running this tournament. So,
yeah, his hand is certainly not lukewarm at this rate.
Yeah,
as he's just found a Nissa Who Shakes the World to come down next turn.
Excellent draw.
Excellent indeed. Now, we were chatting a little bit about these two decks beforehand, and they're quite similar. But Mengucci's obviously running the two main deck copies of Yasharn, Implacable Earth, the medium pig.
Medium pig, yep.
And Pokorny's running the Mythos of Nethroi. So, speak of the devil, and it shall arrive. Wow. So the Mythos of Nethroi, do you think this gives Pokorny a slight edge in this matchup?
I would think it gives him a slight edge in game one, at least, just because the Yasharn, like you said, not that great in the mirror match. Still completely fine. Still a 4/4 that gets you 2 cards. Hard for that kind of card to be bad. But as far as the game one configuration goes, I would give a slight advantage to Tomas. But it is really so small that it's hard to have a distinct winner when it comes to that.
Well, having an immediate answer to Nissa Who Shakes the World is going to be very nice here indeed for Pokorny, as Nissa Who Shakes the World is going to come on down and animate a land.
Yeah, huge pickup there from Tomas. You needed something to interact here, and I like Andrea just jamming here. You saw just lands a couple turns ago. There's a huge chance that it just resolves and that Tomas just has nothing to deal with it. Going to be a little disappointed to see an answer here, but not too bad. Still definitely advantage Andrea here.
Yep. Just being able to get this threat down on the battlefield. But yeah, you certainly want to answer this Nissa Who Shakes the World as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah, we've seen it just get carried away and take over every single game it gets played, if gone unchecked. Yeah. Similar in the last round that we saw between Andrea and Brad, and basically every Sultai mirror in the history of time.
Yeah, you no longer worry about the life total. You're like, I need to kill this Nissa, or I'm going to be very, very dead. Because it just has the power to win games. Ooh, a nice pickup here on the Fatal Push, able to answer this land on the battlefield.
That was probably the best possible. Maybe Thoughtseize was just as good, but the quick glance there, I believe I saw 5 cards in graveyard. So I think this Fatal Push turns on Uro as well.
Very nice.
Wow. Especially because Andrea would have had Essence Scatter available in case Tomas just went Cycle Triome and then bring Uro back the next turn. Andrea had that covered, but does not have this covered.
All right, so let's fatally push this breeding pool into the graveyard. Give the opposing Uro something to munch on. No mana floated. Don't think the Uro is available just yet. Oh, no, it is.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Able to run that out.
Huge turnaround here.
Big, big turn there for Pokorny, who's finally able to do something with all these lands he's been accumulating. On the other side of things, though, not looking super hot here for Andrea Mengucci. Does have the fatal push to get rid of this Uro. And needs to get some cards in the graveyard to get his own out in this battlefield.
Yeah, can't even deal with the Earl right now with no way to sacrifice. Ooh. Brutal.
Yeah, needed a Fabled Passage there to trigger the revolt on the Fatal Push. Unfortunately, not having one of those.
That's why Fatal Push was just so insane there. Not only was that the revolt trigger, but Andrea did not have the mana to do it. Mm-hmm. Really made that play really brutal for Andrea.
Yeah. So in with Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath goes Pokorny. Gonna take Andrea Mengucci down to 11. Can cycle away this Triumph, potentially digging for something in the library and filling up the graveyard for the Uro in his own.
Interesting choice here from Tomas here to either just jam Krasis for 4 or do a little bit more setup, maybe cast Growth Spiral, cycle the Triumph, have Fatal Push available. I think I kind of like just jamming this Hydrate Krasis while you're ahead, just pushing your advantage, but decides against it.
Yep, gonna go for the Growth Spiral here. Finds another land, can dump that down, and then cycle this Triumph when needs be. It's always a tough decision with a Krasis. Like, when do I want to play this? Do I want it to just be a 2/2? Do I want to get greedy and go for as much as possible with it?
Yeah, greed gets me with Hydrate Krasis every single time. Like, if I wait for one more land, that's another card.
Oh, hello, Extinction Event. So, Fatal Push can't take care of the Uro right now, but this sure can.
Yeah, excellent pickup there.
It's not the end of the world, though, for Pokorny, as he can follow up next turn with a pretty big Hydrate Krasis.
Yeah, I really think Tomas is looking for an untap land, which begs the question, maybe why don't you just play that Triumph during your turn? But, you know, naturally just drawing a land off the top would probably be ideal here to get that 6/6, draw 3 cards.
Yeah. All right, so let's cycle this away. There is an Essence Scatter available. Ether Gust there. So what we could see is the Hydrate Krasis being cast, leave up 2 in case of something green from Mengucci's side of things, but can also then protect the Hydrate Krasis and put it on top of Pokorny's library if he needs to protect it.
Yeah, a couple options here. I think the big ones are just max out for 5. Not in love with that play. Do it for 4, hoping to maybe draw an untapped land. Then you have Aether Gust available for opposing Nissa or Uro. That's really all I would imagine are the main options. But did we go to second main already? Yeah, I think you just got to cast it here. What else are you doing if you don't cast your Krasis? Yeah, I like this. Tomas second guessed it, but decides to play it inevitably.
So X equals 4. Essence Scatter is available to Mengucci. Can also Fatal Push it. It's going to let it resolve. Finds 2 lands.
Oh, and this could really backfire for Mangu by Fatal Pushing instead of Essence Scatter. We could gust the Krasis here. A play that we've seen Seth Manfield do a ton. Decides against it, though. Having the Gust for Uro is very huge as well.
Yeah. That Ether Gust has Uro's name written all over it, as the Uro in the graveyard is going to come on out, attempting to, at least, and going to get gusted to the top of the library, most likely. Whee! Just imagine this Titan like being blown across the sky. Yeah.
Scary thought. A really scary thought.
Yeah,
Just
I
as
feel
scary
bad
as-
for wherever it lands.
Why Aether Gust Hydroid Crisis when you already know it's on top? Smart play for Tomas. Big brain play right there.
Of course. It's like, who needs that crisis? I have another one. Although now Mengucci has the Essence Scatter available for it.
Yep. Essence Scattering a gigantic crisis, though, doesn't exactly feel great, I must say. You're still losing a ton of value on that one, but what else are you going to do?
Yeah, no real other way to deal with it right now for Mengu, so gonna fire off this Hydroid Crisis. For 7, it looks like, unless we want to save some mana up. 6.
I like 6 there, just in case you draw. I mean, having Fatal Push available, probably not that likely to actually hit something, maybe a Nissa land or something, but being able to go land 2-drop, 2-mana interactive spell, definite possibility.
Yep. Your Titan of Nature's Wrath gonna come on down. Finds a growth spiral, so that'll help Mengucci dig a little deeper into the library.
Yeah, but Narset there, Parter of Veils for Tomas was just such a huge pickup here.
Oh, yes. Man, bet Mengucci wishes that Essence Scatter wasn't a gate because he doesn't have an answer for this Planeswalker.
Yeah, no kidding. And we see all the Shark Typhoons from Andrea Mengucci in the sideboard. That's kind of the one main way to deal with Narset here. And we do only see one Narset Parter of Veil from Tomas. And it is going to be excellent here because there is not those instant speed sharks to be able to deal with it. You really need Nissa to pressure it. And with that Aether Gust to lock down a possible Nissa off the top from Andrea, you've got to like Tomas's chances here.
Yep, things looking pretty good here for the Czech player. As Narset Parter of Veils goes digging in the library for even more answers. What do we find? Oh, Nissa who shakes the world. Let's go.
Wow.
Nissa animated land, hold up Aether Gust. Are we able to do that?
I believe so. That seems.
No, it doesn't look like we have
right
the.
now.
No, we do. We have enough for it.
Yeah, don't have the breeding pool to really combo with it, which is pretty strange with this many lands, but we haven't played a land yet, so we got that Fabled Passage still.
All right, well, advantage Tomas Pokorny at this point in the game with 2 active Planeswalkers and spells to keep them safe.
And I think I know 2 total people that are not happy with this, how this game is going so far, and that's Andrea Mengucci and Autumn Burchett. I think Autumn would really much rather face Andrea instead of Tomas, because Tomas does have those Tocatli honor guards in the sideboard that Autumn was saying how afraid she is of those. So
yeah, those cards just being able to shut off any enter the battlefield abilities. But that's next round's problem, as we're going to get through this one here first to determine who it is going to meet Autumn Burchett in the lower finals. Wub from Narset, as poor Uro is not going to get to draw a card this time.
Everyone's favorite reminder.
Wub. Oh, man. Things are going to go from bad to worse here for Mengucci as we see another Nissa who shakes the world, but also a Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath.
Why not?
Because why not? Because this is what the deck wants to do. It just likes value.
Like Nissa? How about a third one even?
Oh my goodness me. All right, we don't need 3, but this will be fine. Fatal Push being turned on there by the sacrifice on Uro. And this is looking very bleak here for Andrea Mengucci.
And I believe, we could have lethal here if we just play all these Nissas. If you're really thinking that Andrea is on nothing, that's a pretty aggressive play in an otherwise situation where it's going to be pretty hard to win. But there is lethal on the table here as long as we have enough green sources, which I believe we would from Tomas's side.
I think we might be 1 green short.
9. Yeah, I think you might be right. Dang it, huh?
Dang it. You'd love to win with 3 Nissas back to back, but alas. Gonna have to wait an extra turn to get that done. Here we go. In for 9. Boom, boom, boom. Down to 3 goes Mengucci, who can only sit on and watch.
Yeah, got the Essence Scatter ready for Uro, just because what else am I doing here? But yeah, this is only going to be a matter of a couple more turns. Game 1 should be going to Tomas.
Yep. Essence Scatter will take care of this Uro, but that's not going to help Andrea Mengucci, who doesn't have any graveyard, any way of escaping Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath from his own graveyard. 2 active Planeswalkers, 9 power on the battlefield. Let's cycle this Triumph away and see what we can find. Extinction event? No, never mind, because wub. Damn it, Narset.
Andrea just wanted to click all the buttons here.
Why are you the way you are, Planeswalker? All right, so game number 1 goes to Tomas Pokorny against Andrea Mengucci. What do you make of that first game there, Corey?
Just really how well Tomas drew out of that heavy land hand. And the thing is, in these mirror matches, that many lands is not that big of a deal because we see how big Hydroid Crisis is, that making every single land drop is not so bad.
Not so bad in a deck that loves to play with lands. We're going to be right back after this short break. We're going to join our players in sideboarding and see how game 2 shakes out.
Hey everyone, my name is Matt Tabak. I'm an editor at Wizards of the Coast and am the current reigning and defending Magic Rules Manager. Design likes making big, sometimes complicated effects, and nobody likes boring cards, so they want all their new cards to do amazing stuff. Sometimes it's stuff that's never been done before. So I need to make sure that like all the new designs play well with all the old designs. Take a card like Ashaya, Soul of the Wild from Zendikar Rising, right? It's a really cool effect. We only have so much room in that text box, so we need to find words that communicate what the card does clearly and efficiently. And this is the challenge sometimes with the play design and the Magic designers to get what they want in as little space as possible. It may seem innocuous enough through playtesting, and we put the card through its paces in a variety of decks and things, but as soon as that card hits the public, all the players out there immediately find whatever wacky combo they can do with it. So instantly, almost instantly, on Twitter, I'm flooded with questions about Ashaya and Blood Moon. Magic is a rich game. There's a lot of texture, there's a lot of moving parts. So there's a lot you can do kind of in the seams of how cards interact. But you can group those into categories, right? So like, how does this play with cards like Blood Moon that, change types? And how does this play with like copy effects? And what if I have 2 of them? And you have to ask yourselves all these what if scenarios, and there's millions of them. You'll never get them all, but we work really hard to get most of them. We always say in the office, the most exciting Magic set is always the next one. So whatever awesome stuff we put out, and we put out some awesome stuff in Zendikar Rising, it's just gonna keep coming, right? Like Magic is a juggernaut, it moves forward, it's awesome. It's gonna take everyone on this wild ride, so get ready.
Welcome back to coverage of the Zendikar Rising Championship. If you are just joining us, Gab Nassif is out. Jan Martz Merkel is out. Luca Magni eliminated. And Brad Nelson eliminated. We are with Tomas Pokorny versus Andrea Mengucci. After this match, one of these players is going to be sent packing. The other one will go on to face Autumn Burchett in the lower finals. What do you make of these games so far, Corey? Are you excited to see where this one goes?
I'm so excited. This top 8 has been so great. Just extremely talented players, great gameplay. A little sad to see my brother leave, but other than that, just having a absolutely great day.
It's been a great weekend of Magic, and I hope that you all have enjoyed it at home. Thank you so much for being here with us, wherever you are around the world. Let's talk about sideboards here, Corey. Now, both of these decks are very similar, but with a few extra little spicy pieces here and there. What do you like in these sideboards for both players?
Yeah, the one thing I really like from Tomas's side is that Mythos. Mythos is really, really strong here as basically the only way to kill Nissa, who shakes the world. Instead of just putting it on top of the deck with Aether Gust or something, the only true way to take it down. So I love that aspect. But otherwise, yeah, very, very similar here. We're seeing, 3 Shark Typhoon from both sides. I think the one thing that Andrea has going for him, besides experience in these type of situation, is that Doom Whisperer.
Oh, yeah.
That card is really, really strong. And unfortunately for Andrea, Tomas actually does have that clean answer for it with Mythos. But otherwise, that card is very, very difficult to kill.
Yeah, we got to see it in action a little bit earlier, and just the synergy that it has with this Sultai, with this 4-color mid-range deck. Just being able to surveil cards into the graveyard and feed Uro. It's been really cool to see in action.
Speaking of...
Well, hey there, Mr. Tickle Monster. Ugh, stuff of nightmares, especially if you're ticklish. No, don't send it away. Oh,
all right,
fine.
fair enough.
That's fine.
That is the card you want to get rid of here if you are on the mulligan here. Otherwise, pretty solid hand.
Yeah, ideally would like to have like a growth spiral or something, but Uro is basically growth spiral on a stick, so won't be too sad to have that in your opening hand, but maybe for not much longer.
I want to point out Andrea's sequencing here, even just right on the first turn here. Fabled Passage for Island. Normally that seems a little weird instead of playing the Triome. But the one thing that it's really hoping, and with Andrea being, so very lucky like he is, if you top deck Growth Spiral, then you can actually cast it because you need the blue. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do that with Fabled Passage and Triome.
Yeah. Also, that would have been the only blue source with the Endartha Triome being Abzan colors, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
All these names. How do we keep up? So what's going through Tomas's mind there as he does take the powerful 3-drop there in Uro? Yeah,
that's pretty interesting to me. That is just saying that I am trying to really get under Andrea here in the sense where Uro would speed you up a bit and maybe smooth out the hand, although Hydroid Krasis is the more powerful card. So an interesting take there, and Tomas is just saying, I have way more lands. I'm going to try to cast the big spells first.
Yeah. Well, with that shuffle, we got Doom Whisperer back. Can't complain about that.
I was going to say, didn't we just put that to the bottom?
Good old shuffle of the library brings it back to hand for Mengucci. So likely we'll see that a little later on.
Ooh.
What are you seeing?
Really interesting. The Thoughtseize here. So Tomas has the option here of going Fabled Passage into Thoughtseize, but already knows about Hydroid Krasis and Shark Typhoon. Neither of those cards are really going to want to be cast next turn. And in fact, this Shark might be cycled right now. The one thing that this does, Tomas decides to cast Thoughtseize here. The one thing that this does kind of run afoul of is if you do top deck Nissa, you're unable to cast it, but not the biggest of deals.
Yeah. All right, so Baby Shark time. Let's see what we draw in hand. It is a Sun Petal Grove, so we'll be able to take one of the other 2 cards in hand. Krasis or Doomy Boy?
Pretty tough, but I would say at this point you have to take Doom Whisperer just because the only piece of interaction is Aether Gust. Aether Gust is not a good way to deal with Hydroid Krasis either, but you have a little bit more time with Hydroid Krasis. That card is not really super effective until you get to at least 6 mana.
Yeah. So Doom Whisperer is going to end up in the graveyard. Thoughtseize is the draw here for Mengucci. He'll be able to return the favor and take a look-see in hand. Yeah, unless he's just going to go for a 2/2 Krasis here.
Yeah, I would imagine you want to fire this off, but opening up that graveyard just to make sure that this is not putting card number 6 into the graveyard.
In for 1. Baby Shark getting some damage done there. And another Shark Typhoon drawn here for Tomas.
Big pickup there. Really just anything decent to play was strong. We'll see if we get a cycle for a 2/2 shark here, or just growth spiral, get both of those triomes into play. I think that's what I would lean on. We'll see what Tomas has to say about it.
Yeah, usually with these mid-range decks, the person who gets the most mana first, provided they're not flooding, is going to have the best time about it, being able to get more value off of cards like Nissa, Hydroid Krasis, that sort of thing.
100%. Totally agree here. It'll be interesting to see if Andrea wants to cycle this Triome to increase the graveyard count for Uro, or just put it into play tapped and then have that Hydroid Krasis for sure locked up for next turn.
Yeah, being able to get a 4/4 out next turn will be substantial.
Agreed.
Not the biggest Krasis you could have, but at this point, just being able to get some board presence here is a big thing for both players.
Ooh.
All right, looks like we're going for a 3/3 maybe, or just a 2/2. Oh, it's going to be a 3/3.
Interesting.
In response, we're going to see the growth spiral fired off. Whoa, hey Nissa.
Well, that's best possible.
Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious me. Oh, my.
Wow. Andrea is going to be back up against the wall here. Really, really going to need to top deck something to answer this Nissa back here. Wow, that was such a great pickup.
Yeah. Narset Part of Veil's not too shabby in this matchup, but Nissa Who Shakes the World is just the planeswalker in this deck. Is the planeswalker. This is the one you want to have.
Now, Narset is probably just as good, if not even a little bit better if you play it on turn 3. But when you get to this stage of the game where your opponent's going to have a Nissa in play, and I believe I see that Uro light up already, I think we're just going to see Nissa and Uro hit the battlefield here.
Oh my gosh, that's such a gross turn. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Tomas has got to be happy about this.
Oh, Tomas is going to be happy. Mengucci's going to be livid.
Quite bad. And I believe those Triomes are Zagoth from Tomas, but they are the promo one, so I'm not 100% sure.
Yep, those are the Zagoth Triomes.
Gotcha.
So Uro can come on out.
Trying to keep us on our toes with the alternate art Triomes here. I like it.
Oh, the alternate art Triomes are the best, man. Come on.
They are gorgeous.
All right, so what's the sequencing here? First things first, let's get this land up. Swing on in. Even if it does die, it's okay, because we have the lands available for Uro. Trade here with a Hydroid Krasis.
Yeah, and then play Uro post-combat, and I'm trying to think of what Andrea can actually draw to get out of this with just having both of these really, really high impact threats on the battlefield. Dealing with one can be done, but dealing with both in the amount of time that Andrea has is going to be very tough.
Yeah, things aren't looking good here for the Italian Mythic Invitational champion. As Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, makes his way onto the battlefield. Draw a card, gain some life, play an extra land, if possible. Finds an island. Breeding pool's not what you need at this point, but Andrea can escape his own Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath.
Okay.
A full graveyard. Let's see what we draw off this.
Definitely helpful. Usually the Uro that gets to attack is the advantage one, just because you get that trigger one more time, and then they usually both trade. And I want to remind everyone that Tomas is in his first major event here and already into the top 4, really trying to walk in the same shoes as Jan Moritz Merkel here and just win the first event you play. Oh, that would just be such a cool story.
That would be. It'd be awesome. I mean, I love the makeup of this top 8, having your mix of league players with the non-league players, these relative unknowns, but after today, you bet we're going to be keeping our eyes on them.
Agreed. So I'm curious, what do you think would be a better story here? Tomasz taking it down or hard casting the Shark Typhoon? I know how Twitch chat feels.
You know, as tempting as it would be, I think the Shark Typhoon needs to be cycled.
All right, fine.
I think we need to get a big old flappy shark and prevent this little itty bitty one from pecking away at this Nissa.
Yeah, and we are in our second main phase here from Tomasz, but we still haven't activated Nissa yet. So really contemplating, maybe do I want to just max out on this? Maybe, tap that forest, untap it, and then just QQ and just make the biggest shark possible?
I'm down with that. Narset's coming. You don't want to cycle into nothing.
Yeah, here we
So
go.
let's go for it. Maybe leaving up some mana for counter spells in case we draw that.
Yeah, I would think you want to max out on it besides maybe one Watery Grave or so. That way you can untap with Nissa, and let's say you draw like a Narset, you could still play it. I could also see just tapping out everything here, cycling, and then if you draw one of your 2-mana interactive spells, you just untap one of those Triomes, and then you have access to that as well.
Yeah. Certainly several options to think about here for Tomasz, as he's going to let the rope burn a little bit here on his turn. He's going to go for it.
I like it.
Make it as big as we possibly can. You have Nissa out? What else is she good for besides animating your lands and winning games outright? Well, that's the worst possible thing we could find. Fabled Passage?
Yeah, not great there, that's for sure. Not great from the other side.
But importantly, we do now have an 8/8 on the battlefield that can get in the way of this Uro, unless Narset has something to say about it, which she often does.
Yeah, now what can we find off this Narset here?
Eliminates if there are left in.
Yeah, eliminate would be huge.
Just to get this big old shark out the way. Hey,
Yeah.
eliminate, Ether Gust, and a Nissa who shakes the world.
I was going to say probably the best draw there would have been Extinction Event if any of those were still in the deck. Just name even, and then Uro attacks down Nissa. Because the way it stands here, eliminate only removes one of those threats, and then you just get jump block the Uro to maintain your Nissa advantage. And then it would still be heavily advantaged to Tomasz. But Extinction Event is that card that is not very good in the mirror match. So I'd be surprised if either player has those still in.
Yeah. It's usually the spot removal that they go for, right? Reading pool at the top here.
Yeah, and especially Eliminate and Gust. Eliminate being able to deal with the Island, Uro, Huge Sharks, or Narsets, and then Aether Gust being that nice answer to Nissa.
Yeah. So this Island's going to jump in the way here, prevent the Nissa from dying. We're going to see the second Uro run out. Just to dig a little deeper. What do we find? Oh, a Nissa who shakes the world of Mengucci's own, but a Mythos of Nethroi. The exact answer for Resolved Nissa in hand now for Pokorny.
These Mythos have looked so very strong. I would really be interested to talk to Andrea, Brad Nelson, and Cedric Phillips, who all tested together, and see if in hindsight they would have put some of this card in their deck, because it really has just looked great every time I've seen Tomasz draw it.
Yeah, we've seen so many different takes on the 4-color mid-range piles.
Yeah.
We've seen some decks with Teferi Hero of Dominaria. We've seen this Mythos of Nethroi. It makes sense because you can play it in the colors that you're in anyway, and you're already splashing white for your Sharn, so if not, why not?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of players get tunnel visioned when it comes to splashing white for your Sharn, thinking like, okay, that's the only thing you splash. But we even saw like Matt Sperling splashing for Teferi Hero of Dominaria in the Sultai list as well. And Mythos, another card that is a high impact answer that some players have chosen to play.
Yep. Mythos of Nethroi are going to be fired off here on the Narset Partial Reveals. And in for 9 points of damage. comes the team. Are we going to see a baby shark jump in the way here? Nope.
Well, outside of Tomas's initial draw, which was very, very good, good news for Andrea. Tomas has not been drawing very well since then.
No, he needs to find something. He's relying a lot on those Uro here to dig deeper into the library. And he's going to need to find something now that we have a resolved Nissa. Ooh, a Shark Typhoon.
Wow.
Uh-oh. All of a sudden, the advantage bar is swinging back in Andrea Mengucci's favor with that draw.
Yeah, no kidding. Right now, I mean, they both pretty much have the same amount of things here, except advantage to Andrea because you just have that Shark Typhoon as well.
Yeah, you can make a massive shark, especially with all these forests being able to tap for extra green. So if the Uro does attack, it's going to meet a big old shark in the sky.
Yeah, and all the attackers at Nissa here. Wow. Wow. And you see immediately Andrea putting that stop on the upkeep there. Just signifying to me that the big plan is to wait till after Tomas draws and then put that Nissa on top. So that is just such a huge tempo play against the powerful Planeswalker. Yeah,
just allowing an extra turn off, basically, from taking this beat down from these lands. But yeah, things are looking very good here for Andrea Mengucci now.
What happened? This game turned around so quickly.
Mengu drew good cards. That's what happened.
Oh, all right. Thanks for clearing that up.
You're welcome. That's my expert analysis of what happened. All right, so here we go. Draw step, Fable Passage. Ooh.
Oh, wow. Now at this point, it's becoming very tough for Tomas to be in this game.
Yeah, the tables have turned for sure here in this matchup in our lower round 3. Just a reminder to everyone, one of these players is going on to face Autumn Burchett in the lower finals, and then on to Brad Barkley, who is waiting patiently in the wings.
Waiting patiently, but definitely not too nervous. Brad is still 10-0 with his Azorius control deck. That is just so impressive.
That's insane.
Okay. Ooh.
Gusting Uro. Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, same.
Wow, this is excellent. So you Aether Gust Uro here.
Mm-hmm.
Tomas probably puts this on top because it's still, a very important threat and more than likely has enough cards in graveyard. But then next turn, you're just able to attack Uro and 2 lands at Nissa and just cleanly deal with it.
Yeah, I think Nissa's going to go down next turn.
Yeah, you can either block with this breeding pool if you want to deal with that, and then you just have a clean just Uro to attack Nissa. Or you just let Nissa fall to 3 and animate a land. Yeah, I think that's smart from Tomas. That makes the attacks a little bit more awkward when you're targeting Nissa here.
Yeah, but remember, we can get a big old shark here. A 4/4 in the air. This will take care of Nissa.
Oh, we're done.
We're done here. Hydroid Crisis.
Check, please.
Oh, my goodness. All right. I think we're going to go to a game number 3 here.
I think you are right for all the marbles.
For all the marbles. First things first, let's animate the team. How much damage do we have here?
We got 17, so not quite lethal. But at this point, that Uro better be coming with some good cards.
Oh my goodness. All right, big crisis. Let's go.
I'm guessing we crisis for all but 2 mana, maybe all but 4 mana if Andrea really feels the need to find something. Okay.
He's going to have to find something magical at the top of this deck. Let's see what it is. It's a crisis. Does that keep him in it? I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's definitely good. I know Andrea is wildly ahead here, and it doesn't matter too much, but pretty curious to see why he just didn't cast it, even for like 6, maybe value for 8, but gonna be fine either way here.
Yep. So Oh, that's gonna do it. So Ether Gust can take care of this Uro. Get that out the way. Swinging for a bunch of damage. Uro, you tried your best, my friend, but you're not gonna do much on top of the library here. I'm not even worrying about it. Just swinging. Good game, says Tomas Pokorny. Good game, says Andrea Mengucci. Gonna pick up the win here with this massive attack.
Great comeback.
And an applause from Tomas Pokorny. Very nicely done, Andrea Mengucci. What did you make of that game there, my friend?
I really thought that was going to be a quick 2-0 from Tomas. He
It
was
looked like it.
Yeah, he was so wildly ahead, but that just shows the expert play of Andrea Mengucci. Never really even worried, never even trying to make any long shot plays that he wouldn't normally do. Just played his game and was able to come back.
All right, well, we're 1-1 after this break. We're going to see what happens in the final game between Tomas Pokorny and Andrea Mengucci. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, I am Taylor Ingvarson, and I am a world-building art director. There's definitely challenges with every card and thinking flavor to the mechanic. With the pathways specifically for Zendikar, it is such an awesome opportunity to just like really dig into what makes Zendikar special, and that's the land. And something that's so fascinating about Zendikar is up isn't always up, down isn't always down, sideways and sideways isn't always there. And what these pathways allow us to do, especially with the bringing up of the ancient core skyclaves, is to help show the viewer like how treacherous and dangerous some of the pathways that these adventurers could have to take to get to their overall goal. And you can take them if you want, but dang, they're pretty treacherous. With the two different types of pathways that we got to do for this set, it's more of just another opportunity for us to double down on the land of Zendikar. The thing that was great about this was it was just another opportunity for us to be able to show and help communicate just how wonderfully amazing and diverse Zendikar can be, and all the different methods that these awesome adventurers have to use to be able to achieve their goal. So these modal face cards are incredibly fun, incredibly challenging, and we just keep getting better and better and more excited about it. And we're incredibly excited for all of you to see all the wonderful things that we have coming within the next year.
Welcome back to the Zendikar Rising Championship. Ailey Loney alongside Corey Baumeister, and we are getting settled in here for game number 3 between Tomas Pokorny and Andrea Mengucci in what's already been a really grindy series here, Corey.
Yeah, no kidding. Really grindy, really back and forth. So many different decisions from each side, and was impressive to see Andrea claw back into that game in a game that almost seemed lost.
Yeah, well, what would you say was the turning point in that second game where it looked like Tomas Pokorny was just going to run away with it?
I really think the turning point was Tomas maybe slightly hastily casting that that removal spell on Narset, instead of maybe being a little bit more patient to, let's say, take care of that Nissa. Because I do think with Tomas already being ahead, you were naturally going to be able to attack down that Nissa. But, it's a tough play either way.
Yeah. It's always tempting when you see a Narset just to get it off the battlefield. And I agree, a lot of us in that same situation would have gone for that play.
Agreed.
But it ain't over just yet. One more game is going to determine who is going on to fight Autumn Burchett in the lower finals here. Will it be Tomas Pokorny? Will it be Andrea Mengucci? Hey, Mengu, you got a sideboard, bud.
Yeah. We can't leave the table, man. Yeah,
He's just filling up his water. You know how important it is to stay hydrated and get snacks.
Just as important as Tomas getting a couple kitty pets in for good luck.
Of course.
That's basically the cheat code right there. I mean, how can Tomas lose with that cute of a cat?
Yeah, have cat will win, of course.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case for the sacrifice players this weekend, though.
Yeah, that deck really didn't do that great this weekend.
As it's all about this Sultai and 4-color mid-range pile.
Yeah, I do think Fatal Push was the big change that improved that matchup quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's get things underway. Turn 1 Thoughtseize. What you got?
All right. Thoughtseize could definitely just nab that Thoughtseize. But wow, just great hands from both players, really.
Very nice indeed. As we're taking a look here, can grab a Nissa, an Uro, a Krasis. All cards you hate to see, but you really don't want your stuff touched either. So goodbye, Thoughtseize. I believe that's the one that's going to go.
Yeah, it's interesting because Tomas's hand isn't insane or anything. So if you just have a Thoughtseize cast at you, taking one of the sharks, you know, not the biggest deal. So I could also see taking Nissa or Hydroid Krasis, but Thoughtseize is probably going to be the pick here.
Oh no, going for the Nissa who shakes the world. Respecting the powerful Planeswalker and getting that on out of here.
Absolutely. Nice pickup from Andrea.
Another Thoughtseize. Oh, man.
Nice pickup, but then immediately gets taken down. Wow.
So Thoughtseize taking care of Thoughtseize there. Andrea Mengucci is going to be able to go Growth Spiral into Uro, into a Krasis if nothing else comes of the draws from these 2 cards.
Yeah, interesting. Andrea didn't just fire that off right away. Usually Growth Spiral, you know, just want to get out there, but plenty of time to just do it at end step.
Yep. Gonna fire it off. Certainly the more, the better curve, you'd say, for Andrea Mengucci than what Tomas is working with at the moment with the 2 Shark Typhoons and the Nissa.
Yeah, and from Andrea Mengucci here, this is exactly what you want. Just Growth Spiral, make sure you have that 3rd land, and then either Uro to ramp to play another land, or even just get this value Krasis here. Really good start for Andrea.
Yeah. 2nd Uro found off the top. Oh, nice. An Ether Gust for Pokorny, so he'll be able to interact with something here. Let's go Uro. First things first, going to chip in for 2 points of damage in the air. How did he get down to 12?
Yeah, just all these Thoughtseizes, just really picking away as well as taking damage from Overgrown Tomb. This is, this is quick.
I look away for a gosh darn second and you're down to 12. Goodness me.
All right. Interesting if Tomas wants to gust this first copy. Doesn't really seem like an ideal gust target, but Tomas's hand doesn't do too much here. I would imagine we just let this resolve and try to cycle Shark Typhoon for 1 and set up Nissa next turn and then untap and have Aether Gust available. That seems like the ideal play if Andrea doesn't have a piece of interaction, which we know he doesn't right now.
Not yet. Oh.
Ooh,
well, hey,
this could be a train wreck for Andrea.
Oh, goodness me.
I think he just realized that as well. Like, what if my opponent does have land Narset? Oh, this could be the game if Tomas finds an untapped land here.
Oh, man. Narset part of Veil's down on the battlefield. Shark Typhoon can still cycle away. There's a Nissa who shakes the world and an Eliminate off the top.
But I don't
What do you go for?
I think you probably go for Nissa here, but I don't think it truly matters what you get here if Tomas is able to go cycle, get a land, Nissa, untap, and have Aether Gust for an opposing Nissa. Oh!
Finds it. Finds 2 lands. Is going to be able to get Nissa who shakes the world down on the battlefield, untap, smack Narset, and keep up Aether Gust.
Wow, this is huge. And take down Narset here, have the Gust available. This is definitely trouble for Andrea.
This is big trouble indeed.
But I'm definitely not going to count out Andrea Mengucci because we saw what happened last game.
Yep, no, don't do that. Never count out the Mythic Invitational champion who finds a second copy of Narset. As an Uro, Growth Spiral. Oh, excuse me. Well, Uro is kind of Growth Spiral. Hydroid Crisis, Eliminate, and can escape the Uro in the graveyard.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we
First
gotta
things
start
first.
picking away.
Yep. Let's get chipping with this little 2/2 Hydroid Crisis.
Okay. Nissa to 4 if we don't want to chump with this 1/1 shark.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
4 is not dead.
Okay, this is huge. Eliminate to be able to make sure you can at least play another spell here. I believe this is still in combat.
Mm-hmm.
And if this unlocks Uro, okay, all right.
Yeah, we can get Uro.
That's huge. Really smart play from Andrea Mengucci. Just recognizing that even if you have Aether Gust, you'll at least get the trigger here.
Yeah.
Might get Aether Gusted next turn, but really smart play.
Yeah. Very heads up there from Andrea Mengucci as a Zagoth Triumph is the draw from Tomas Pokorny. He's going to be looking to find a way around this pesky Titan of Nature's Wrath. Would love to find an Uro of his own, because this life total is worrying me a little bit, shocking in another land down to 10.
Yeah, the 2/2 Hydroid Crisis just going the distance here.
Okay, Uro going to the bottom.
The Shark Typhoon, yeah, with having another one in hand, I think that makes a lot of sense. The Shark Typhoon is going to be quite good here. What do we got this for? A 5/5?
Yeah. With Nissa down, all these sharks just get supersized.
Mm-hmm.
No, Mengucci's got to know that a Shark Typhoon is a possibility. How else does he deal with Nissa, though? He needs to kill it. He needs to get this off the battlefield.
Yeah, without Mythos from Andrea's side, it's pretty tough to deal with here. Crisis being a good start.
Yep, goes for another 4/4. Get as many flyers as possible. Is this 2/2 going to attack?
This is a very important attack or not? Oh, this is just perfect for Tomas.
Whoop, QQ. For anyone who doesn't know how to do that, you press QQ on your keyboard.
Yes. Useful. Pretty self-explanatory, that's for sure. Yeah, and a brutal attack there. I mean, once again, I think you do got to just try to get that Nissa dead in any way, but yeah, kind of threw away so many Nissas.
So many Nissas. Oh my goodness. I heard you like planeswalkers.
No
kidding. Look at this. He's just putting foot now. Foot on the gas. Let's go. Second Nissa who shakes the world out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if we want to get all these lands in. I would assume we do. Even the 1/1 getting in there.
I love it. I love it. Tomas is just like, I'm done with this. Let's go. Let's boogie.
Yeah. I would like to win this game now, please.
Yeah.
With Andrea still at 25, though, these kind of attacks, well, they're good because you're getting through a lot of damage. You are still just giving up resources. So, you know, with Tomas just attacking like this, you're really trying to say, I want to get this game done within a couple of turns. But that Aether Gust is probably going to be very key here at stopping that Nissa.
Yeah.
Okay. And one thing that Andrea Mengucci can do here is cast Nissa. That's step one because it adds so much mana. Eliminate one of these lands. And if you eliminate this Overgrown Tomb, that's only one green source left. Then you Aether Gust this Nissa, and maybe even you do it in the other order. So maybe you can kind of trick Tomas into putting a Nissa on top. Unlikely to happen because we do have that other Nissa. But then you get rid of the land and make the Nissa in Tomas's hand dead.
Could he also just not go for the kill on Nissa with the two creatures attacking?
You could, but you can block with Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, no, that seems like a very solid play as well.
All right, so let's see. Going for one of the triomes.
Maybe you want to save the eliminate, though, for that 5/5 shark. That is kind of the one thing that Andrea doesn't really have an answer for right now. But yeah, that, like you said, just that play is too important here to be able to attack down Nissa.
All right, so not dead in the air yet. Going for the kill on this Nissa. The second Nissa in hand won't be able to come down because there's no more green left. Oh, face? I don't know if I like face.
I don't mind face. If we go face with, it's just going to be with the triumph, and then we're going to be gusting this Nissa.
Okay.
And that's fine as well.
Yeah, because we can't replay it. Well,
yeah.
Tomas can't replay it.
But right now, Andrea at 13 is still pretty comfortable with 2 Uros. You can gain a lot of life next turn. And I don't think there's really a sequence of draws that Tomas can have to win next turn. And that's really what he has to do.
Yeah. So Mengu just doing mental maths, trying to figure out, okay, I attack in here. I don't have a blocker for the land. I've got the 3/3 down. I can block that land. I take 6 in the air. Am I okay with that? Yes, he says. As Nissa, who shakes the world, is taken care of on Tomas's side of the battlefield.
Andrea just casually taking a drink of water, be like, that was my turn. Your go. No big deal.
Any potential to Ether Gust his own Nissa? Or is he happy to let this go?
Definitely worth thinking about, but I think you just let it go. Really, the plan from Andrea, I would think now, is to win with Uro. More than likely, you have enough cards in your graveyard. But if anything, you're getting very close.
Yeah.
And I think the only way Andrea loses is to that 5/5 shark. So Aether Gusting the Nissa is just one less draw step to, let's say, draw another eliminate to deal with it.
First port of call for Andrea Mengucci here is going to be Narset Parter of Veils, it looks like. Decides against it, though. Just tapping a little differently.
Okay.
And let's go digging for an answer. Growth Spiral ain't an answer.
Not bad, but yeah, at this point, you look at life totals and we're thinking, who's the aggressor now? I love this. I love this. If Hydroid Crisis is not going to be doing any blocking, except maybe to that 1/1 shark, you know, that's the only thing you really would want to hold that back for. Why not get it in there? And then maybe you have to force this 5/5 shark to stay home from Tomas.
Yeah. Man, things are not looking good here for Tomas Pokorny as Andrea Mengucci is just adding more and more resources to the battlefield, gaining some extra life, getting even more land down on the battlefield. And we look over on the other side of Tomas Pokorny, and there's only 3 lands available for him. What does he draw? All right, so there's a forest. Still can't get this Nissa out, though.
Oh, and right now, my brother is dancing in his living room, looking at Doom Whisperer, the card that he for sure suggested to this team, looking like it's really going to stabilize it for Andrea Mengucci.
Things are getting very, very close here now to the end of this game. Uro Titan and Nature's Wrath is going to come back for Andrea Mengucci and just push his advantage even further now, as all Tomas has left are 2 tapped sharks and a Nissa that he cannot play.
Yeah, huge here. Andrea coming back. Unreal. Just coming back 2 games in a row at games that looked really, really rough. But at this point, this just looks like GG for Andrea.
It does. Down to 2 goes Tomas Pokorny. You can see him shaking the head there. What does he draw? He finds an Uro. Gives the good game. Is that it? That's it. Andrea Mengucci continues on and is going to face Autumn Burchett in our lower finals. Congratulations.
Impressive.
Man, Corey, what do you make of that matchup? That was so back and forth the whole time.
I was just such a fan of Andrea's play. I'm trying to really copy anything that will try to give me the same kind of skill that Andrea Mengucci has. Just really expert stuff here.
What is that?
It's kind of a bear hat, yeah. I don't wear it as well as Andrea Mengucci. Let's get real.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm sure he will appreciate the flattery there in the I don't know. Anyway.